Hello, welcome to another edition of Opus de Stellis, Career Astrology, One's Perfect Vocation in the Natal Chart. Well, I want to touch on essentially how to analyze a natal chart. Now, of course, obviously one has to analyze a natal chart prior to determining the career path, but then there are several methods that one can use to have a brief picture of the overall, as you will, personality or character, or if you will, potential of the native. For instance, one technique I use is to analyze, in the Placida system, which is, the most common form of Western charts, of course, is to analyze the ascendant, then the sun placement and the moon placement in terms of the sign in the house, and then analyze the cusps for each house and see which planets and aspects are in each house. For instance, let's say a person has a Sagittarius ascendant with Neptune in the first house. Then with Neptune in the first house, that means that this person, especially as Neptune is in Sagittarius, this person has a bent for, shall we say, possibly deeper wisdom, but possibly they like to be scholarly. They probably have an air of being not so much intellectual, but an air of being, say, aware of being very perceptive. And with Neptune in the first house, then that degree of perception is heightened in that native. So let's say the second house then is in Capricorn. Then this native again is somebody who's very geared towards steady, prudent, or money management, as it were. So they're not somebody who's very, not so much frugal or a Scrooge or miserly figure, as it were. Nevertheless, they're probably somebody who values sound management of money and finances and material items. Third house, let's say, is Aquarius, and the third house, of course, is the house of communications, the house of siblings and general connections with others. So the third house in Aquarius, then this person generally would value or exercise more of more advanced communication. When I say advanced, possibly they would use technology a lot, or possibly they would use non-traditional or extraordinary means to communicate with people. It could be part of their job, it could be part of their something, or it could be just the norm for their community. Then the fourth house, the IC, that's the Imoem Coli, that's the bottom of the chart, is in Aries. Aries is a fire sign, a fire mutable sign, and it's coordinated in rooted in Aries is a strong sign. So somebody with the fourth house cast, the IC in Aries, would tend to have familial attitudes or home attitudes and experiences, not so much fiery or abusive, but certainly for them, they see the home and family as a source of passion. Then the fifth house in Taurus. So for them, and they have Chiron in Taurus. I'm citing a hypothetical example of a native. So let's say Chiron's in Taurus. Then Chiron in Taurus in the 5th means that, of course, Chiron's an asteroid, highlighting wounds in relationships with others. So, for instance, somebody with displacement, possibly their sense of creativity and fun and passion possibly leads to alienation with others, or the converse, they use creativity, fun and passion as means of connection with others. So they're able to override the Chiron effects. Let's also say the 6th house of this native is also in Taurus, but there are no planets or asteroids in this specific house. Then it's very possible that this person sees his or her public service or contribution to the world or society in terms of steady management, in terms of accumulation. So what would that mean? Would that mean that there's some kind of banker? Not necessarily, but it just means that, shall we say, Taurian energies would such as I say, not hoarding, that's a bad term to use in this case, but as in steadiness, surety would predominate. So let's say the 7th house is in Cancer and Mars is in Cancer. Then to this person, relationships are important, and not so much they live and die for relationships, no, but certainly relationships in terms of they're very protective of others due to the Mars in Cancer. And for them, they like to use their, shall we say, protective energy or competitive energy in the defense of relationships. So watch out for part 2 as I'll describe further. Thank you.